here's the thing. Remember this always. If you find peanut butter anywhere on my desk, throw it away because I have licked the spoon, dipped it, licked the spoon, dipped it. Just throw it away. It's a hazmat.
Is
Just
there
save
does
yourself.
anybody eat peanut, like, do they serve it into, like, if it's not on a PB&J, obviously, but if you eat peanut butter, would you put it in a bowl? No, you put your spoon in the damn jar. That's how you eat peanut
Exactly.
butter.
Exactly. And you buy the
Yeah.
long spoon so your knuckles don't get the
Yeah.
from the edge. I mean, I'm a fucking professional here.
The Hollow Bunny. And we all feel hollow sometimes.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Hollow Bunny Leadership Podcast. I'm Kristen Zeman, and I am here with my tenacious and timeless co-host, Sylvia Moyer. We are former police chiefs who have seen a lot of examples of leadership, both the kind that fills the room with substance and the kind that is all shine and no depth. And the Hollow Bunny is our metaphor for those leaders who look the part but lack the core. But this podcast isn't just for cops, it's for anyone who is looking to lead with impact, challenge the status quo, and fill their own bunny. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of this, because I think our listener was onto something pretty interesting.
Harry, and you took a deep dive into kind of the complaint. It's like, if my work is done, why is it more valuable for me to just sit? This is what this person said, to just sit for 8 hours. Why wouldn't I just unplug and go do something else? Right? And you took a deep dive, really reflective of your character and your intellectual curiosity. You did some research on this and the origins of this.
I did. So what she was describing is what we call Parkinson's law. And I knew that, but I knew of it, but I had never actually researched Parkinson's law. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to explain it to you like we are in 7th grade.
Okay,
because it's actually that simple. So get out your number 2 Ticonderoga. How you say your pencil?
Ticonderoga.
That's what I said.
So
get that Ticonderoga and get your Trapper Keeper out, because we are back in 7th grade. And
Trapper Keeper?
Did you not have a Trapper Keeper? Oh my God.
What is this
Sylvia.
Illinois bullshit? What are you talking about? Trapper Keeper sounds like something at a gay bar. What is this?
Oh my. It's actually really funny. Oh, listeners are right now, listeners are crashing. Listeners are pulling over because I know that it is unbelievable that you have not heard of a Trapper Keeper. No, it is not an Illinois thing. You know what? We'll just put that on ice. Your homework today is to research Trapper Keeper. Oh my God. Anyway, we're in 7th grade.
Pencil box?
No, it's even better than a pencil box. Oh, you know what? It has an accessory that can hold a pencil box, because it's this contraption that keeps all of your folders and your paper. And I had a pencil case that went into my Trapper Keeper, and my Trapper Keeper was a unicorn with a big rainbow on it.
See what just happened? Every Hollow Bunny Leadership Podcast listener is like, if we wait long enough, she won't be able to fucking stand it. She's going to give us an assignment to research it. And then she's just going to tell us, because she's going to tell about her sparkly, glittery unicorn. Really?
Jesus, you've really never heard of a Trapper?
I've never heard this term.
I am befuddled right now. I am befuddled. My flabber is gasted. Okay.
My gob is smacked. Okay.
My gob is smacked. Okay, back to Parkinson's law. So
please,
you've probably lived it, even if you've never heard of it. So 7th grade. You got a whole weekend to write a 1-page book report. You've already read the book, assumingly. How long does that take? So if you've got the whole weekend to write a 1-page book report, that book report takes you the entire weekend to write it. But if your mom yells, hey, we're leaving in an hour, suddenly you pump that book report out in 1 hour. And here's the kicker.
Okay.
It is just as good. The work didn't need the weekend. The work took whatever time you handed it. So there's the famous line written in 1955, work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So that's just actually the opening joke of the essay that was written on this. The real essay is about something way more serious. So let me ask you your first reaction to that. Does the book report version ring true from your own desk or your corner of the world?
Me, 100%. Procrastination, overthinking, unnecessary complexity added in. Hell yes. This, in fact, my dear co host, is why I chose not to go to the University of California, but California State University. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
I prefer a semester system at California State University. It's an entire semester. I can kick it all the way to the end. I can enjoy my time. And then the last minute, I'm going to get it done.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the UC system's on quarters. You can't procrastinate. I was apparently doing a field study, a real study of Parkinson's theory.
Yeah. No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
And I do find that to be true. This is like where, the whole 40-hour work week comes in, and the 3-day work week or 4-day work week, whatever it's called. And it's just that the work expands and contracts. So
Deadlines increase productivity.
They do.
Deadline.
They do.
Yes.
And that's why if you give someone a deadline, you will get it done up to that deadline. There are very few people that operate. I don't even know if that's true, if it's very few people. So that was unscientific because I really don't know. But when I think of myself, I like to get things done ahead of time. I'm in school now, and so I have every assignment done a week ahead of time. But here's what I think it's also because I'm older and more experienced, and I've learned that life happens. So if I don't get it done and then something unfolds where I have to go do something else, then I have built in a time buffer. So that's just my personality, because I just don't like to panic. But I think that's really only come with age. I didn't used to be like that.
Well, I think you've hit on something. I've never heard of this Parkinson's theory, but it absolutely makes sense. I think it's called life for most of us. If you give me a deadline that's 2 weeks, I don't know, it depends. I will look at my calendar. I will say, okay, there's this crisis that could occur, this one, I've got these pressures, and I might get it done. I think, though, here's one of the things. In some professions, we get it done early because you never know when the big one's going to hit.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's what I also found really interesting in delving into this Parkinson's theory. So it's called the ABCD story. So bear with me, but so I want you to follow me here. So picture a guy in an office. Let's call him A, okay? So A feels super overwhelmed, and Parkinson says it doesn't even matter if he's actually overwhelmed or just feels like it. I mean, we figured that out throughout the years. It doesn't matter if someone, it's how they feel, right? Regardless of whether it's true or not. So put that aside. But that everyone listening has been A, or worked for one. So feels overwhelmed, and then now Mr. A has 3 options. Option 1, quit your job, which not a chance that's happening because you'll lose your paycheck, your pension, your 401k, what have you. Option 2, split the job with an equal partner. Now that would make sense, right? However, that's not what happens, because an equal becomes a rival. And so if you split your job with an equal partner, that person could get promoted instead of you. So you move on to option 3, hire 2 assistants underneath them. So every single time, according to Parkinson's law, the person, Mr. A, chooses hiring 2 assistants. Here is why. Note, 2 assistants, never 1, okay? Because 1 assistant learns your whole job and becomes the rival that you were avoiding. But 2 assistants, they're too busy watching each other to threaten you. And a bonus in that is you've just become a boss. Now, here is where Parkinson's law comes into play. Fast forward a few years.
Oh, boy.
The two assistants feel overwhelmed. Shocking, because they each get 2 assistants. Now 7 people are working, doing the job one person used to do. And here's the evil genius part. All 7 are genuinely busy because they make work for each other. So the memo one guy used to write and send out now gets drafted, reviewed, corrected, routed, signed, blah. Nobody's lazy. Everybody is slammed. So Parkinson called it 2 laws. An official wants to multiply subordinates, not rivals. And then officials make work for each other. So that's it in a nutshell. And that's how we get bloated in our organizations. It was just kind of an aha moment for me.
And you accept that as a modern day reality.
So I think there's some version of it somewhere. I don't accept the fact that everyone has the autonomy to hire 2 assistants. Of course not. I think what he's illustrating here is, that you delegate it to someone, and then, I think that what he's saying here, and it's most certainly not perfect. That's why I wanted to battle this out with you, because it is a little absurd. But the concept is, forget the way he just described it. Don't you think that becomes a reality in our modern day workforces?
I'm not sure I totally buy it.
Okay.
I think so often. Well, it would perhaps if we have leadership that's measuring time spent instead of outcomes. It might if there's not scrutiny on scope and effort. I don't know. I just think what this is doing is it's saying, rather than saying, yes, it's happening, we say maybe. And we'd say, okay, there's some real leadership applications here.
Mm-hmm.
There's something very, very real for us to examine. And those things we will pick apart by the end, because that would be a big bite for a leader to examine. I work with somebody who is always like feeling overwhelmed. And what's so fascinating, and always like, so overwhelmed, so busy. I've got this massive case on, and he stacks shit on his desk so that he looks busy too. And, undoubtedly he's got a lot of responsibility and he's a busy guy. However, I just saw you have an out of office return. Somebody sends you an email and it says out of office. He has one that I just saw this morning, as a matter of fact, that said, I am so busy trying to manage my workload. I'm only going to check my email around 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day so that I can be the exemplary, very, very busy and overwhelmed man that I am. And I was like,
okay. So
okay,
can we talk
that
about
happened
that?
this morning. I'll read it to you if you'd like. It's
No, I believe you.
freaking unbelievable.
But I want to talk about the version of that person. So,
okay.
And I guess, in Parkinson's law does say that overwhelmed it's could be true or not, right? It doesn't matter. It's your perception. But don't you think that's just like a personality kind of thing? Because I know people like that, where it's like the sky is always falling and everything is a crisis. I'm like, oh my God, it's just, I've never seen anything like the lack of ability to cope with things becoming busy or crises that aren't even actually crisis. And I just raised my eyebrow. So do you think that is just something that is just a character trait in a person?
Yes, it's a character trait. It's something that energizes them. They need that angsty, churning. I'm so busy. I'm just like, oh, fuck. We've both worked around people like that. How you doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm so busy. I've got blah, 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 blah. It's like, simmer down.
Yeah.
To this person, he's very busy, has a lot of responsibility. It's a big job.
Yeah.
And will not let go of anything.
Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, so no delegation.
So much of what we talk about is, psychology and human interaction. It's this leadership thing. And there are some people that they'll go to briefing every day even when they don't have to.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary meeting. And they're doing unnecessary things because of some emotional attachment to those unnecessary things. They'll go to meetings and instill bureaucracy into things, and it's not necessary. So,
okay, buddy.
I guess
So you pushed back on Parkinson's law as written, and yet you're exactly describing that individual doing the same thing. So let's seriously pull on this thread. Fast forward to present day, because this was written
Okay.
what, in 1955. So meetings expand to fill the calendar, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
this is what we do. A meeting is set for 1 hour and we jaw jack and spend 20 minutes,
Yeah.
talking about nothing. And then Slack expands to fill your attention. The 40-hour work week is an artifact. The work stretches to fix it. And so I actually think remote work blew the cover off of this. When nobody's watching the clock, output becomes the only visible thing, and looking busy, it collapses. So like, that's not a career strategy anymore. So the 4-day work week pilots, keep finding the same thing, same output, fewer hours. And so I think Parkinson is vindicated from the grave, because that is literally what we do.
It is, but have you verified that the man's actually dead?
No, I have not. I will make the assumption as so.
Okay, so we're going to assume he's dead. He has been vindicated from the grave. And really what you're saying is that the time available shapes the amount of work that we do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
And
Go on.
like, there are some jobs, we might know of some that can be done really well and still connect with people, still influence strategy and policy and culture and climate. And I don't know, maybe 24 hours a week, maybe 30 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. I also think you hit on something, though, that sort of triggered me, and it's because I think I was bad at this. When you mentioned going like down to roll call to see the officers, when it's not necessary to do it all the time, but I was the opposite of that, where I had a couple officers go, "Hey, it'd be nice to see you, like come down." And I was like, oh, I have to do that. And so
Different.
I think there is, because I think there is a sweet spot between, you really do need to show up, and though that is what one of my weaknesses, because I did get so focused and so busy, and I was like, oh, I don't need to go to roll call, but really a leader does need to show their face. So yeah, that's totally
Right.
different. I don't think that fits this.
Wednesdays, I like to go to briefing because it's an overlap day.
Yeah.
And usually what happens when the boss goes to briefing?
No one says anything.
Nobody says a word. Not a word.
I know.
But you show up, you're
That's
dressed
right.
up, you show up, you get there. Okay, so when we boil this down, there is a way for us to understand Parkinson's law, right? And one of the things that I typically go to when you bring something so meaty and well researched like this is, I go into, okay, so how would I use it? And I'm like, okay, how would I use it? What's the leadership application, right? So we
Okay.
get right. So let's talk about that. So we understand Parkinson's law as the work will fill the time given. This is because I just need it simple, because I'm a simple brain.
Mm-hmm.
Work will fill the time that you give it. And
That's
if
right.
you have a long deadline, like a week deadline, and a task only takes a day, it'll take you a whole week because you've got a
That's
long
right.
deadline.
But
Okay,
before you delve into practical applications,
Yeah.
I want there's a sequel law that I want to
does it
mention.
involve a snack that we could have?
You
since
can
we're
eat,
starving?
and you put that jar in that peanut butter and put it in your face, as long as you can still talk, but that's going to be hard.
Well, go ahead.
But here's the sequel law, and I found this interesting too. It's called the law of triviality, and that says a committee will spend the most time on the least consequential item, because that's the only one everybody understands. So, for example, this is a terrible example, but for example, the board would approve the nuclear reactor in 10 minutes, but then argue for 45 minutes about, the storage shed or something to that effect. And every single one of us has been in that meeting where we make the big decision and then, we can't seem to make decisions about trivial things. So I just wanted to also add that law of triviality and see if that also maybe manifests into your practical application.
It might, and there's a companion principle called the Pareto principle, and that's the 80-20 rule. It says focus on 20% of the work that produces 80% of the results.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a companion piece to Parkinson's law. So we have your Parkinson's law, we have the Pareto principle, and we have your law of triviality. Interesting.
And the Pareto principle also is, what we used in crime is, 20% of the people create 80% of the havoc. So or unless we've been using it wrong, but that's how I used it in my
So
organization.
do you have a principle that we can name after you? Do you have something that will,
No, but yours we
outlast
do.
your
Yours is the peanut butter principle.
It is not. It's ridiculous.
Do you dip your flaming hot Cheetos into your peanut butter, or is that a
No,
standalone thing?
no, they're clearly the flaming hot Cheetos come after the peanut butter to make me almost feel like I've had a meal.
I love that you had a protein bar in there though, like just to call it healthy. That's my
I
favorite,
did.
actually.
Well, yesterday I ate so many vegetables I thought I was gonna die. I just ate broccoli and spinach and stuff. Today, I don't know, maybe it was preparing me for this doom. All right,
Yeah,
so if
probably.
I had a
Okay.
Pop-Tart right now, I would mess up a Pop-Tart. Do
Wait
you
a
put
minute.
butter on your Pop-Tart? Come on,
Of
do
course I
you?
do. I put the, oh, hold on. Is your Pop-Tart, is it fruit filled or is it that brown sugar one?
Oh, either one.
Okay. Do you put it in the toaster?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Put it in the toaster, get it out of the toaster and just get a stick of butter and just then the stick of butter melts on top of it.
exactly.
Oh, stop it.
Exactly.
Do you know
Okay,
they
we
rated
are.
snack foods and that is one of the worst things that you could put in your body, a Pop-Tart.
Why? Is it like
It
poison?
is
Wait,
it
who
is
rated it? You're
poisoned.
so
Not
full of shit.
only no, I swear, because a Pop-Tart is like that was my childhood staple and I haven't had one in forever, but I fantasize about Pop-Tarts and I read somewhere that it is
Hey,
actually the most unhealthy food for you. It is so highly processed and sugar. God, it's delicious. But
do you
anyway,
know
we
what they have
digress.
now? Do you know
What?
what I have in my freezer? Toaster
What?
strudel.
Oh, I know those.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you put the little icing packet underneath the strudel. As the strudel
Yeah.
cools down, it warms up the icing. I mean, I'm a fucking professional at this
Oh my God.
7-year-old child
You
food.
eat like an 8-year-old. Yeah, you really do. That's
Eight,
fantastic.
thanks.
Oh my
Thanks.
God. You're so welcome.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Practical application for Parkinson's law of
Okay.
triviality, and Pareto principle. Okay. All right. Talk to me.
Okay, well, I say so. What I kind of have been thinking is set shorter deadlines. First of all, shorter deadlines say, hey, this is a quick hit. We need a brain trust, stand up a brain trust, get it done. Short deadline.
Okay.
That's one of the big ones, short deadline. And you and I know we give our most important tight deadline stuff to the busiest people.
Yeah.
And what Parkinson's law, I think, makes me think about is if there's a big monster project, break it down into individual pieces with individual due dates, with short
I
due
like that.
dates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Also, I want to talk about going kind of back to the guy A, Mr. A principle, where like you've hired two people, blah, blah, blah. And I do want to sit on this for a minute because I think you're right. I think that pathway is not very realistic. But I really do think that there are things in our current cultures that could really be eradicated. And the reason that I know that is because in 2008, when the recession hit, I had just gotten promoted to lieutenant and I was put in charge of the budget. And my chief
Oh,
walked into me and he
oh,
said,
gross.
we have to cut our budget by 20%. And no, he didn't even say, he didn't give me a percentage. He said, I need you to take it down to the skeleton. He said, I need you to cut not only fat, I need you to cut muscle and take it to the skeleton. He said, if we don't need paper clips, then we need to cut it. That was my first duty as the administrative lieutenant.
Ugh,
Here's what I
gross.
found though, Sylvia. I went to every unit and I said, tell me what you don't need. And instead of me doing it myself, because I don't know what the gang unit needs, I don't know what vice and narcotics needs. And they were like, oh yeah, we've been doing this for years. We don't need to do that. And they self-corrected and they told me, cut this. I was able to take it down to, I would say I still left some muscle, but because so many
Oh,
people were like, we put this unit
oh,
together like a long time ago, and honestly, we don't even really need it. We've just never changed it. So there is something
oh.
to bloated, and that's where I think he was getting at when it comes to organizations. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
I in a crisis, people will step up. It's like we're
Yeah.
going to do everything we can to cut non-essential services. Then we're going to examine what can we do where there might be a slight service degradation. What are the consequences of that?
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to people. What I've found, you found the same thing. They will self identify, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And folks, what I've found is most people will take a pay cut to save another person's job.
I agree.
They
I
will
agree.
self identify
Yeah.
a little bit of harm for the greater good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Parkinson even touches that. That's not anywhere in this space. But what it does is it is a leadership kind of example of what people will
Yeah.
do in difficulty. And then people will step up and still get the job done in a compressed time. So there is a correlation with having a compressed time and high task stuff to complete.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think that leaders who are listening to this, I think what we need to do perhaps is apply Parkinson's law in reverse. Kill the dead units. They decline headcount, and then shorten deadlines. And like, as you were just saying, and cancel the standing meeting if there's nothing on the agenda. But that takes actual courage, because it's most organizational cultures that we just abide by all of those things. They've always been in place. We always have the Wednesday meeting. And so I would think about constraint as a tool. Small teams, real deadlines. Like everyone, I know everyone listening has watched a crisis get done in 48 hours. Like that's what we do. And and they get that done what a committee couldn't do in 6 months time, because the deadline was real. So there is definitely, I think people, to your point, I think people truly rise to the occasion and do what needs to be done. But we need to apply that pressure test in everyday circumstances, I think.
Sure. And one of the things that I'm thinking about that I need to make actionable is not only shorter deadlines, but break big projects into meaningful parts. Then also look at it, doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be done. And then finally, I'm going to look at this kind of Microsoft Outlook thing that meetings are an hour. I think we can make a meeting 30 minutes. One of the things that I found super successful is to have a meeting where people give their pieces that they're going to contribute and a time associated with that contribution. So to be like, Kristen is presenting on project number 1, and Joe is presenting on this new record system project number 2. Kristen needs 5 minutes and Joe needs 7. And
Love
so
it.
they tell us how much time they need, and then you assign a timekeeper.
Yeah.
And that keeps us really true to the crisp kind of high level information that needs to be shared. And then the longer, more churning kind of discussions can go offline. I found those to be super successful, and that method to be successful. And then look at some times where you can have a 15-minute, a 30-minute meeting. That might help
Ooh.
too. Parkinson's law.
I love that you said that, because we, as you know, in law enforcement, there is no such thing as work from home. We don't do remote, and we didn't really do Zoom meetings much. And I know that other industries, especially working in different time zones and different continents, of course, they rely on Teams and having meetings like that. But for us, this was brand new. But here's what came out of that I thought was so beneficial after COVID. And that was, we all got on Zoom. And then, to your point, what ultimately happened was we continued that practice. But what would happen is, when we had something churning, like maybe a big fire that needed to be put out, let's say an officer involved shooting, or something that we really needed, we needed answers to, we needed the attorney, we needed the mayor, we needed the city manager. And what we would normally do is, what's everybody's availability? Let's not make it so urgent. That's a bad example, because everybody would always be available for that, but just something that we needed some resolution on. What we would do is, our admin would send out like, who's available? Can you submit to me your availability? And then, okay, we've got us all scheduled for next Tuesday at 3:00 from 3 to 4. And post COVID, we became so accustomed to, we would just send out a quick email. Can everybody jump on a Zoom real quick? We need to hash this out and we need to have an answer. And we would have a 15-minute meeting via Zoom,
Love
even
it.
though they were right at City Hall. which would prior to require an in-person meeting. And we got so much more done because we just hit it and quit it. Like, let's pop on, let's
Okay.
pop off.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, and what a great example. And we can do that. I have a question about that though. A lot of folks in California here, they're coming back to work. They're coming back to work. There's no more, or there's reduced remote work, especially in government. I think because people broadly were not connecting with other people.
I
And
agree.
that's what I've understood is it's more productive when you're back at work and you're in person, and it's more productive when you're connecting with people. You and I believe in the power of connection. That is really important. I also think this might be something that we need to look at. It perhaps means that, well, it means a lot of things. What do you take? What do you make of the fact that people are coming back to work because of an absence of productivity and connection?
So I don't know that it was the productivity, was it? I think that people, honestly, I think a lot of it is a control thing, is like kind of how we started this conversation.
Okay.
It's
Full
like, I want
circle.
people back in the office, but because as Parkinson's law has proved, everybody got their work done. They just got it done. They, go to the gym in the morning and then go get their work done. And, like, everybody got their work done. So I don't think it was productivity. I think there is a control issue, as I want my employees on site. And I do think there is a connection issue. So the example that I used of jumping on a Zoom and hashing something off,
Yeah.
we were all back at work, of course, but we just jumped on a Zoom. So I think we still utilize that. But to your point, well taken, that nothing is better than energy in a room, especially when you're trying to solve a problem, because you spitball off one another and it feels different than it feels with a little square on a Zoom. So I always prefer in person over a Zoom meeting. But I think there is quite a balance that we can strike with that.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I got a lot out of this, and a lot of challenges to my
Yeah.
leadership as a result of this. So I'm really grateful that this person wrote in and asked us to tackle this. Is
Me
there
too.
is there a summary that we need, or you think
No, I
folks
think,
have
well,
really
let's recap. Let's recap for our listeners, before anybody even thinks
before
this
our
is just
sponsors come on?
before our sponsors come in. But
Okay.
this isn't just about organizations, y'all. This applies to your own calendar and your own head. If you give a worry a week, then it's going to take a week. So I guess I would say there's 3 challenges for you. 1, give your next task half the time you think it needs, and just
Ooh.
experiment, see what happens. 2, perhaps sunset 1 reoccurring meeting this month, just 1, and just see what happens. And then maybe the 3rd thing is, before you add a person to anything, ask what you'd stop doing instead. So instead of bringing more people on, just see if you can manage that. I don't know. That's just the things off the top of my head. That's not from Parkinson's, but I don't know. I think the homework is to find 1 thing in your organization that exists only because it's always existed. That's a great place to start at work. And then once you find that, kill it and report back to us. We genuinely want to hear it.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's land the plane there.
Let's land this plane. Bring it in.
I mean, the horse is dead. We don't need to beat it anymore. You just need to get back to your peanut butter and your
I need a
Cheetos.
salad, for God's sake.
Yeah, you do need. I'd like to see you have some green and not the lime from your Cheetos. I care about you. I want you.
Thank
I want you
you.
healthy. I want you to eat whole foods.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Listen, friends, if you love what we're doing, show us some love. Subscribe, like, review, and
Do it.
spread the word. You can follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. This podcast is produced by the incomparable Ted Madden, who was unable to be with us today, but for good reason. He's with
Such a big
with
deal.
his son. Yeah, he's such a big deal. He's so busy. The music you're about to hear was written and performed exclusively for the Hollow Bunny Leadership Podcast by my handsome and talented son, Jake Zeman, and his friends, Fabian and Zoe. And listen, if you don't like this podcast, move along. Nothing more to see here. Remember, keep filling your own bunny and keep adding substance to others. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
When you look inside, what do fight the hollow bunny. And we all feel hollow sometimes, but the monsters are only in your mind. It's a tough pill to swallow, but if you're brave and kind, you'll be alright. If you fight the hollow bunny. When the challenge ahead scares you to death, you tame the imposter inside instead. To change the world, you've got to start small. It takes a leader to say, I don't know it all. And I know I'm gonna fall, but I'll pick it up and come back stronger. Failing forward and moving onward, doing the hard thing and the right thing, forever fighting the hollow bunny. And we all feel hollow sometimes, but the monsters are only in your mind. It's a tough pill to swallow, but if you're brave and kind, you'll be alright. If you fight the hollow bunny. If you're tough on the outside but empty within, something's gonna crack, you've gotta start again. You're tough on the outside but